Proverbs chapter 16, verse 4. The Lord hath made all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. Call hello Yahweh, Bahashem, Mashiach Wamalak Yahweh Shah, for giving me the spirit and power to do this lesson. All right, so what we're going to touch on today, A, problem, reaction, solution. I know everybody's seeing what's going on in Chicago right now. And, they making it legal in Chicago, but this is what's going to happen across the four corners of the earth, man. But we're getting a glimpse and a snippet of what's to come, man. So what does that tell us? That we're here already. We're here. We just need to manifest. That's it. When in history do you ever see a kingdom say it's okay to commit crimes and there's no consequences for them? Whether they make up their own constitution of crimes or whether they go by biblical. You've never seen that. There's always punishments. But here in Chicago, they're in Chicago, Illinois. They just announced, and I'm not talking about no maybe this or on Facebook. I'm talking about like the chief Chicago PD police department, the chief came out publicly and announced that starting January 1st, 2023, that certain offenses will not be detainable offenses, right? Like aggravated robbery, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing, arson, burglary, drug-induced homicide, intimidation, kidnapping, robbery, second-degree murder, and threatening public officials are not non-detainable offenses. That's what they just said. And if you watched the video, the chief of police, he was pissed off. He was like, what the hell is we doing? And he also said that it was an overnight thing. He said all of this happened overnight, right? So this is Satan against Satan, and we know it's not going to stand. But all praises to the Most High because it's prophecy. It has to come to pass, right? We're in the times where we actually see these prophecies come to pass, right? And that's what Yahweh says. He says, blessed are your eyes, for ye see the things that the prophets of old wanted to see, right? Yeah. So let me start it off with this. Because like I said, man, hey, when we go over these things, man, this is what I just went over, Salakia, is the recipe for purge, man. If you're telling the people, the citizens, that you're not going to be arrested for these things, they said second degree murder, you will not be arrested for that. And then he goes on to say, if you do be arrested, you will only be held for 48 hours and you will have no court date after you release. Right? And these are all laws that they passed overnight, man. And that's just Chicago, Illinois. Right? And hey, we can't wait for this to happen, but this is prophecy, man. And we know that there's brothers in Chicago that actually believe in a true and living name, and they serve the true and living name. And the Lord willing, we're able to see them brothers be delivered. We're able to see, because we know everything about to go down. It's already been going down in Chicago, and that makes perfect sense why they started with Chicago, because Chicago has the most guns. When you deal with from state to state, Chicago and Texas has the most guns. Right? So it makes sense why they starting in Chicago. And I wouldn't be surprised if they started it, Texas was the next. But all of these are offenses you should be going straight to jail for according to the Constitution. But they passed this overnight. That's how you know these are some wicked ass devils, man. But I'm not gonna make this lesson long. I just want to show you two prophecies that pertains to this to show you that this is what the Bible says is gonna happen. Esau ain't controlling nothing. The Most High is tired of waiting. Grace is almost up. The elect is almost sealed. Right? So this is, first I'm going to get Job 21 and 30. Let me get Job 20 and 31, I believe. This is Job chapter 21 and 29. It says, have ye not asked them that go by the way, and do ye not know their tokens, that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction? So we always we always looked on our earth, man. All of us, since you've been in the truth, you always be like, damn, why the hell is the wicked getting away with everything they're doing? But that's the thing. They're not getting away with nothing. It tells you right here in the scriptures that they're being reserved, right? And when you reserve something, like let's say I reserved a table, that table is waiting for me. Nobody else can have that table, right? And we can replace that table with lots. Everybody's lot is waiting on them, and it's their lot, and they're gonna sit in that chair, right? Because those chairs, so to speak, that table is reserved for them, right? But it says that the wicked is reserved for the day of destruction. They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath, right? And that's why Proverbs 16:4 it said that the Lord created all things, yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. So he created all these wicked ass niggas that's in prison because they said also that all of the people that fall under the category of these offenses, they're gonna let out of prison. So Esau know what he's doing, bro. Esau know it, but ultimately the Lord is doing it. But like I always say, we deal with reality, so we have to point the finger at Esau, right? So this is I'm gonna get another one. I want to get Second Peter, right? But like I said, the people they're starting to release. They're about to start releasing people that's in jail for aggravated battery. Aggravated battery is bodily harm to somebody. You beat them to where they can't walk no more. That's aggravated battery, right? You have battery where you just punch somebody. Y'all been into a little scuffle and people break it up, but then you have aggravated battery where you beat somebody almost in a coma. Hey, that's the people that they're about to let out of prison, right? Drug induced homicide. That's people that sell drugs to people that overdose on drugs, right? Aggravated DUI, drunks. Imagine a drunk. They letting all the drunks out, right? Kidnappers, right? All the arson, you burning down stuff. Burglary, you robbery, and even murder is on her. They're gonna let all of these people out. But we knew this was coming already. We was expecting this to come. You should be more happy than anything because this stuff is almost out the way. Because this stuff has to happen. But it's almost here, so it can almost be out the way. Right? Second Peter chapter 2 and 9. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations. And there's temptations that them brothers are about to have to deal with starting January 1st, 2023. Right? If shit ain't already popped off by then, right? Because man, come on, we gotta come in our right. We gotta like actually sit down and think about it. Like, what kind of people would just sit here and be like, okay, these are non-detainable offenses. They're non-detainable. All this time you was taking all these people to prison and jail for this, but now all of a sudden they're not even explaining why. They just saying these are non-detainable offenses anymore, no more. This is what we're dealing with. This is what you call the purge, right? It says the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. So all those wicked ass Israelites that's in Chicago, right? The Lord is going to reserve them for the day of judgment to be punished. He's going to use them to slaughter each other, and he's going to reserve the righteous that's in Chicago because I know for sure there's elders in Chicago. There's elder brothers in Chicago, and there's all kind of brothers that teach from different camps in Chicago that the Lord is dealing with, and He's going to reserve them, right? Every state, right? We're coming up on a time where your camp is not gonna matter. What's gonna matter is about the Lord's elect. That's what really matters. You're not gonna hear us going around saying, yeah, we with the sons of Jacob, and if you ain't with the sons of Jacob, you ain't in the truth. You're not gonna be hearing it's gonna be about the Lord's elect because a lot of 2/3 is gonna come out of these camps. Why? Because they know what to do, but they don't do it. Believe it or not, it's a lot of wicked ass niggas in these camps, man. That's for sure. Let me get this precept though. This is Psalms chapter. Oh, right. This is the time of judgment, man. This is the time where the Lord is going to judge Israel first, right? And Esau is only doing this just so he can declare martial law. That's all he's doing that for. Problem, reaction. He create a problem. He create a problem. He let the people react. and then he come up with a solution for it. That's when he's gonna come in with the robot dogs. That's when he's gonna come in with the AI robots, right? That's where he's gonna be coming in with all this shit, right? But it's all systematic. It's all planned, right? So this lets you know that Esau is almost done with setting up shop. Ultimately, the Most High is almost His grace is almost up, man. Because when those doors of repentance close, that's it. It's judgment time, right? This is Psalms 1 and 5. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in judgment, right? Because they're gonna be getting put to death, man. In Chicago, you about to see a lot more death. Esau knows that, right? It says, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous, right? So there's not going to be wicked ass niggas that's going to be surviving with the righteous out there because the Lord is going to tuck the righteous away, right? And also, this is the time where Isaiah 4 and 1 is going to come into play because you have to understand one thing for sure is the Lord is going to reserve, He's going to reserve a lot of women, but He's going to kill a lot of women. There's a plethora of women on this earth. Almost every man, if he got kids, he has at least one or two girls, straight up. But I was saying that to say, like, he's going to tuck the righteous off. He's going to hide the righteous, right? And this is where Isaiah 4 and 1 is going to come into play, where these women are going to be seeking refuge. They're going to be seeking help, right? They're going to be a hiding, the men is going to be a hiding place from that wind. What's that wind? That destruction that's coming, starting with Chicago, Illinois. Hey, and honestly, Lord willing, hopefully it does happen. Hopefully it get cracking. You don't get tired of paying bills and shit, getting taxed on everything. This man telling you that you the evil of the earth. You don't get tired of that, right? So it's just like, now let's get this shit over with. We ready to get them back and enjoy our kingdom, right? But this is Psalms 1 and 5. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor the sinners in the congregation of the righteous. Right? The Lord is going to tuck away the righteous. He's going to hide them while everybody is slaughtering each other, man. And this is prophecy, and I'm about to get it. But it says, for the Lord, I'm just trying to get warmed up. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. So we just got two accounts of Job and in Peter, where and King David is also solidifying it. So this is three different accounts, two or more witnesses. How the Lord is going to tuck off the righteous, He's going to hide the righteous from that destroying wind, and He's going to reserve wickedness for the wicked, right? From the mighty men all the way down to the weak ass game head men who don't want to repent, they have to perish, man. Right? And it tells you in Wisdom of Solomon that mighty men is going to be mightily tormented. Right? So let me get this precept right here before I continue. This is a good precept to use right here. Right? I know some of them niggas in there, they looking at this as a good thing. They looking at this as a win. They like, we can do whatever the fuck we want to. That's how them wicked ass niggas is looking, but the Lord created them spirits to be like that, man. And that's the precept I'm getting. There are spirits created for vengeance, man. All those niggas in prison for aggravated battery because they can't stop beating up people, and they wondering why they can't stop. Man, I'm back in jail. They writing letters talking about they're sorry to their family, all of this shit. They can't stop killing. They can't stop kidnapping. They can't stop robbing people. That's because the Lord created spirits for vengeance, right? These spirits were created to be like that. Nigga can't stop selling drugs. The Lord created you to be like that, to be wicked like that, to judge the next person or to judge yourself, or for you to be judged, Salakia. But it says, this is Sirach 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, right? It says, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force, right? And that's the times we're coming upon destruction. For their destruction draweth nigh. That's what we about to read in Second Ezra also. Second Ezra 15. The sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Right? And one people shall stand up and fight against another. Right? It's going to be in Chicago. It's going to be a state where, and it's always, this happens all over the earth, where you always have what they will call the good people versus the bad people. Right? But in totality, they all wicked because they not coming. Because if you was for the Lord, you would know prophecy and you would know this has to happen, so you wouldn't be going against his will. But these people, the so-called good, are thinking they're going to think we have to get our country back. We have to get our country back in order. This is the kind of mentality they're going to be on. While the wicked going to be like, fuck this country. So it's going to create so-called good versus bad, right? Like the North versus the South. The North thought that releasing the slaves or making them work instead of just killing them. The South was like, nah, let's just kill them. So it's the same situation. Satan against Satan, man. Right? While the righteous are tucked off waiting on the Lord to return, right? Enduring to the end. But it says they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So that's a key verse in this key little point in this verse where he says they please. It says appease, but the word appease means please. They please the wrath of him that made them. They're pleasing the Lord by laying down his destruction, these sore strokes, right? They pouring out their force in the time of destruction. They're pleasing the Lord, right? How do we know that this is pleasing the Lord? Let's get another precept from the beginning, right? Exodus chapter 15 and 3. It says, the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name, right? So when we look at this from the beginning in Exodus, he told us the Lord is a man of war. So that's all you've seen throughout history since the beginning of ages, all the way to 2022. It's all you heard and see is wars, whether it's individuals or it's nations, right? Whatever the case is, you always see, or gangs, anything like that. There's always wars involved, right? You can't even make a movie without war being involved, right? Because that's nature, right? Even nature, like lions and hyenas, they hate each other. They are arch enemies. They don't know why they hate each other. Cats and dogs, arch enemies. They don't know why, but there's war right there, right? Jacob and Esau, there's war right there. And there's going to be a lot of that in Chicago, Illinois. Jacob versus Esau. Straight up, man. And this is what we waiting on, right? But the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Yahweh is his name. The Lord loves seeing war, man. He's a man of war. He loves seeing destruction, right? Because that's who he created it to be, good versus evil. But it says, let's keep going. It says, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance, right? And I was working on a lesson also going over that, the updating in news, because I haven't did updating news in a while. But if you see what's going on around the earth, man, it's so much of this going on where he said fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. So the Lord is judging the earth as of now. Like I said, I know you won't see a lot of it because those schedules are scheduled. Work, home, shower, eat, spend time, a couple hours with family, get some sleep for work again. The same cycle over and over to where you don't know what's going on across the earth. But there's crazy storms around the earth, especially in Europe, man. Like in Poland, there's hail and floods. Thailand, there's a earthquake that just killed 78 people in China. Right, they just had to evacuate Japan, China, and Taiwan. There's a flood in Indonesia. Right, there was a volcano, the Sakarajim volcano is erupting. Right, so they had to evacuate everybody. And then you got the flood in Dallas, Texas, Mississippi, and in Utah. So these things are happening, man. Straight up, man. And one of the biggest distractions on this earth is getting that paper and social media, creating this fake ass image on social media. That shit gets on my nerves, man. See how people is on social media, but then you know these people in real life, you'll be like, it makes you want to just be like, just stop. Like, just stop. But we know that's not gonna happen, man. We know that's not gonna happen. This stuff has to happen. These people are just extras, man. It shows us how to be and how not to be. Right? But let me keep going. Verse 30, teeth of wild beasts, scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. So this is what we get to see. But If you read Ezekiel 14, teeth of wild beasts, scorpions, serpents, this is one of the Lord's four sword judgments that's coming to America, right? So think about it. They're letting all of these men go, men and women and juveniles out of these prisons, right? Who has these kind of offenses, right? Eventually, they're going to cut the power out, right? And they're going to let out all these zoo animals too, right? There's a couple of zoos in every town. I'm not even talking about every city or state. We're not talking about that, man. We're talking about there is animals everywhere, and they are literally they've been set up. Man, the Lord is brilliant, man. The Lord, these zoos, the Lord set that up for judgment, man. And He's about to judge them. All them lions you got in them cages, right? These people be beating these lions. They be beating these leopards, panthers, cougars, tigers, bears, wolves. Hey, the most favorite wild animals you like to see is in the zoos nearby you, right? And the Lord gonna put the spirit on them to maul people, right? Imagine getting uh ate by some 4 foot wolves, 4, 5 foot wolves. Wolves ain't no small animals, man. These things are tall. They come up to like your waist, right? And they gonna remember who had them locked in a cage, man. Straight up. But let me keep going. It says teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, right? And the sword is your sword is your modern day gun, right? And Chicago is one of that's why they call it Chirac, because that place is like a third world country. That's all you see is murdering in Chicago, man. To the point where people move out of Chicago, right? But there's a prophecy where it says that people won't be able to leave their city. And I'm convinced that they are going to set up checkpoints where you cannot leave Chicago before January 23rd. I mean, January 1st, 2023. That's just what I believe, though, right? Esau is always 2 steps ahead, right? Not of the Most High, but of society, right? But it says punishing the wicked to destruction. So we keep seeing this word, right? Reserving the wicked, punishing the wicked to destruction. The Lord created all things, even the wicked, for the day of evil. We keep seeing that because that's what we're dealing with, right? So ultimately, the Lord is letting these niggas out this prison. The Lord is about to allow these niggas to rob and break in people's houses and kill them and kidnap them, take their children and demand money, take their wives, right? Take their wives from them. And some of them niggas is, hey, let's just be real. Some of these niggas are punks. They're not gonna defend their wives and children. They gonna leave. They gonna smack. You'll never see them again, and they gonna be left out here, right? Drunk driving. Hey, putting your hands on people, burning down stuff, bro. This is what you're gonna see, right? And we give our praises to the Most High because this is His will, and we don't go against the Lord's will. We for the Lord's will, so we want this to happen, right? And you should want that to happen too, man. So we can get the hell up out of here, right? But the wicked has to be punished. It says, "They shall rejoice in His commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is." Right? That's why there's always a new serial killer. There's always a new bully. There's always a new everything because the Lord has them reserved on the earth for when need is. Right? They got something what you call copycat. Right? Copycats, like you got somebody tried to copycat the Gemini killer. Right? The copycat. The Lord had him on earth when need is. Right? And they rejoice in His commandment. That's not saying they literally know it's a commandment from the Lord, but they enjoy what they do because the Lord gave them a commandment through the Spirit to do it. But they rejoice in it. They like torturing people. They like robbing people. They like killing people. Right? They like getting drunk and running over people, man. They love selling drugs to their people. All this stuff is, hey, this stuff is being legalized before your eyes. Right? So let me keep going. Let me read it again. Verse 31, they shall rejoice in His commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. And when their time has come, they shall not transgress his word. And that's what we about to see. These these non-detainable offenses that we're looking at in Chicago is going to happen across the four corners of our earth. We're just using Chicago as a snippet, right? As an example, right? This is about to happen everywhere, man. These people going to be trying to flee out of Chicago, right? But we're going to see what the Bible say about that, though. But it says, uh, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. Now, let me go to this. What was I going to get? I was going to get this. Isaiah 13, right? Because it's a prophecy on it that this stuff would happen. And that's Isaiah chapter 13. Isaiah chapter 13 or Isaiah chapter 14 has not came to pass yet. I would love for somebody to show me that Isaiah 13 and Isaiah 14 have came to pass. Or Second Ezra chapter 15 or Second Ezra chapter 16. These has not came to pass yet. But this is Isaiah 13 and 11, right? And I will punish the world for their evil, right? Remember, we read in Proverbs 16 and 4, the Lord, let me read it one more time before we read this, because that's very key. That's why I brought it out first. I was not trying to let that slip my mind, right? So this is Proverbs 16 and 4. The Lord hath made all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. So it's not mentioning the righteous because we know that the righteous is for the Lord. But he's solidifying that the Lord created the evil for himself too, for this day that we're coming upon. And when it says this day, it's talking about a time period, right? Like in Jeremiah 30 and 7, for that day is great. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble is not literally a day. Jacob's trouble is a time period, right? And this is what we've been waiting on the whole time. This is why we do these lessons, so we can all correct, examine, and get ourselves together before this day comes, before this time period comes, the great tribulation period, the hour of temptation, the day of the Lord's wrath, however you want to cut it. But Isaiah 13 and 11, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, right? Because that's Americans, the whole earth, but starting with America is the most arrogant people on this earth. They just think they cannot be messed with. From the country itself to the people, like Esau, all the way to Jake, man. Even Jake that love America, they think the same thing, man. The mentality of the heathen, right? But the Lord said he's going to cause all that arrogancy to cease of the proud because he's going to take away all their food, all their water. You see, he's draining these rivers and lakes. The Lord is lit, bro. If you come over here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that Arkansas River is bone dry right now. And we was just going to camp yesterday and seeing it. It is bone dry, man. Right? So it says, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, to stop. All that pridefulness, man, people ain't gonna be doing that. People gonna be out here trying to survive. All that eating food just because you got it. You know, flossing on the poor, flossing your money on the poor when you used to be poor. All that arrogant and pride and that proud, man. The Most High hates that. The Most High hates pride. And the Lord's going to cause that to stop, man. People is prideful, man. But it says, and will lay low the haughty of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Right? And when you look at when you go and do your research on a gold of Ophir, that is they call it mystical gold, right? But the key point in this, he says he will make a man more precious than fine gold. He says more than the golden wedge of Ophir, right? So people in Chicago, it's going to be so bad around the four corners of the earth, starting with Chicago, obviously, right? It's going to be so bad that the Lord said he's going to make certain men like gold. When you see gold, nobody overlooks gold. Everybody wants that gold. Everybody needs that gold. It's valuable. Think of all the things you could do with gold, right? The Lord said he's going to make a man more precious than fine gold. So there's brothers Hey, there's families, right? And there's brothers that's not married that the Lord has reserved in Chicago that he's going to tuck off, that he's going to allow women to cleave onto, right? And that's going to be a hiding place, like it tells you in Isaiah 32. These are the times we're coming upon where we're going to see if these prophecies are what it is or not, right? We are in a glorious time where we actually see the Lord do what he said he was going to do. Thousands of years later, we are here, right? But he said he will make a man more precious than fine gold, right? Even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So this is where the Israelites start to get their shine back, right? This is where the Israelites start to uh, get back on top, so to speak, right? Because the Lord told us he was going to do that in the land of our captivity. Let me get that. He said he was going to do that in the land of our captivity, right? This is Zephaniah chapter 3 and 18. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden, right? The men, starting with the men. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, which is all nations, and I will save her that halted. Her is the nation of Israel, the remnant, the elect, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. This is him making a man more precious than fine gold, because it's not talking about no wicked ass Jake. This is talking about the righteous that he's going to reserve, right? And it seems scary for those brothers, what they're about to go through in Chicago, but they actually, if it happens there, let me say that, if it happens there, they are going to be the first ones to actually witness the Lord's miracles, straight up. So they are blessed, right? We can't always look at it, the bad side of it, right? But it says, and at that time I will bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and praise among all people of the earth, right? That is that gold of a golden wedge of Ophir. They call it mystical gold. Why do they call it mystical gold? Show me golden wedge of Ophir right now. Show me gold, Ophir gold right now. I believe that that's that gold that be glowing in the dark that they show you on these movies. That's where they get that from, right? Show me gold that glow in the dark, right? Because they'll show you on the movies, but you'll be like, where did y'all get that from? But then when you go and look at this mystical gold, that's the details that it gives, right? So it says, name a name and a praise among all people of the earth when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, said the Lord, right? And when all this chaos, Jacob's trouble, when all this shit pop off, that's the Lord bringing our captivity again. We're in it. We're captivity is over. There's no more paying bills. There's no more none of that. We are free, right? We're gonna be pilgrims. We're free. A pilgrim don't gotta worry about paying nothing. Nada. Now nada. Right? And that's what we trying to be, man. Like I said, that's a blessing to be in that day. But listen, Isaiah 13 and 13. He says, therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts and in the day of his fierce anger. This is talking about those thermonuclear destruction, right? It says, and it shall be as a chased roe and as a sheep that no man taketh up. So when you look up, a roe is a deer. So he says that the people are going to be like chased deer, right? It says they shall everyone turn to his own people, right? This is the time where we're in Chicago where Esau going to be helping on his own people. He gonna be seeing Jake out there starving, but he ain't gonna show no regard. He gonna be looking for his people to take back to whatever community that they have, right? That's in some kind of wooded area or so, right? And Jake is only going to be helping their own people, right? These are the times we're coming upon. This is what the prophecy says. They shall everyone turn to his own people. Now, this is going to happen across the four corners of the earth, right? It says, and flee everyone into his own land, right? And that's what we tell the heathens, right? You're not getting on them chariots, so you might as well go back to your homeland, right? And like uh, Moab, Ammon, Elam, These are these niggas know, and a lot of them are going back home, right? Because that's the safest place they feel in the time of anarchy is home. We don't have a home to go to, so we stuck out here. That's why the Lord has to deliver us from the hand of all that hated us. You hate us to leave us here like that, right? But it says, verse 15, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, right? Because that's the times we're living upon. You're not going to be just walking up and down the street, especially you women, right? You independent women that like to live alone, who just want men for booty calls, right? Women walk, they walking back and forth to work, or they drive back and forth to work, and it's just them and their children, right? All that shit about to stop. You're not even going to go outside without a man in that day. It's going to be so scary. And women are a prey. I mean, women are a spoil of war, right? It tells you that in Deuteronomy chapter 20, 20, 22, that women are a spoil of war, man. And that's what you about to see in Chirac and across the four corners of the earth is a war, right? Civil war, what they call it. But it says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through. If you be found in that day, you're going to be put to death, especially if you are of the heathen. It says, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword, right? If Jake called himself, because you got a lot of Jake that grew up in the South and all they want to be around is redneck Edomites who got cowboy hats and cowboy boots. But if you go with them, you're going to be put to death, man. The same way around. Esau he think they, anything, everything in him, he think that he Jake. He think he a Negro. Or he say, they say things like, I don't know, I just don't, they weird, man. I just can't be around them. Now, some of them that say that, I believe that they're Israelites, right through the spirit. They just can't be around them because they probably Israelites. But some of them just do it being a culture vulture, right? Either way, the Lord tell you everyone is going to turn to his own people, right? And it says if you get caught with the heathen or you get caught with the other nation, you're going to fall by the sword. What's the sword? The modern day gun, right? Cannibalism is coming back too. There ain't going to be no foods when all this shit is going down. No food. And you know how Esau get it. Esau already feeding you human meat, right? Esau's already feeding you human meat. I seen this video of this girl. She was breaking down how there's your local cemetery, right? Look at the rate that people is dying today, and tell me that they say the newest uh graveyard is 100 years old, and the rate that the people are dying, these graveyards should be full to where they have to create more, but they're not. Why? Because they feeding you these people, right? And they already proved that with McDonald's. The man who I think he was like the CEO of McDonald's, he said it doesn't matter if we. He said the reason. He said, why are you telling us this? He said it doesn't matter if I'm telling you this now, and it's the truth. He said because they're not going to stop eating. That's crazy, man. And you not. You crazy as hell if you still eat McDonald's. I'm just straight up, man. And you going off because that's ain't none of that shit is it's either human meat or it's pork. Unless you getting a damn cappuccino or something, right? But this is let me keep going. It says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Right? And that's a prophecy even of King David, where he says, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone. So that's not nothing new. Hey, children are going to be getting dashed to pieces in this day we're approaching. So imagine the pity, the mercy that's going to be removed from the earth, man. The book of Eli, right? I am legend, right? These are the maze runner, right? The road. These are the times that we're coming upon, right? We're going back to a 10,000 BC type of culture, lifestyle, right? Going back to fires, right? We going back to everybody needs to be tucked in wherever they're gonna be at nightfall because there's not gonna be no light. That's the that's the time period we coming upon, man. Enjoy your bed while you got it. Enjoy that TV. Enjoy that big ass Toshiba TV. Enjoy that 2020 Charger you got outside, or that Challenger, right? Enjoy that Mustang. Enjoy that Hummer, that Land Rover, bro. Enjoy all that bullshit, because it's about to be snatched from you. Thus says the Lord, right? That's the arrogancy of the proud to cease, because he's going to take away everything from you, right? So he says, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses shall be spoiled, right? And this is what you're going to see a lot of in Chicago, if it happened in Chicago first. Like I said, I'm only doing this lesson because it's been announced in Chicago first. Straight up. We know this is going to happen across the four corners of the earth. I really don't expect it to happen in Chicago first, but hey, maybe this is the place where it starts and gets started. We don't know, but we know it's going to happen, right? By the characteristics on what they doing, we know this is prophecy. So it's not like it's a lie, right? But it says their houses shall be spoiled. And one of the non-detainable offenses was robbery, kidnapping, and burglary, right? And murder, right? And we reading it right here in prophecy, their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. So like I said, kidnapping. They're going to be taking your children from you. They're even going to be taking your wife. And it says right here, your wife's going to be ravished. You know what ravish means? Ravish means rape. So this is a prophecy that women are going to be getting raped crazy in that day, right? And if you look at it in a spiritual eye, that is a judgment of a woman getting raped. That is a judgment, because that's one thing all women fear. So we can look at that as a judgment. It happened in Babylon in 70 AD. What happened every single time we got invaded, right? But in Zechariah 14, let me just get it. It was one of the judgments that the Lord proclaimed on the southern kingdom, right? Zechariah chapter 14 and 2. The Lord says, I'm going to start at 1. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. Right? That's what always happens. Started with the things that was in the temple. Right? It says, for I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. Right? Psalms 83. And the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled. Right? This is the same word, rifled, spoiled. Right? The houses spoiled, the houses rifled. It says, and women ravished. This is the judgment that was proclaimed. Women being raped. It says, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, right? And that's going to happen today. We can use this for today too. That captivity is going to be FEMA camps, concentration camps, death camps, right? It says, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Why? Because they're going to be complying and obeying, or they're going to be tucked off somewhere. Straight up, man. So reading Isaiah 13 and 16, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. So you're going to have to watch your children be dashed to pieces, all you wicked ass people. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. Right? And you probably going to have to watch that too, man. All the niggas don't want to get right, man. That's just what it is. You ain't even trying to get right. And for all the niggas that left the truth, boy, this stuff definitely applies to you. The Lord says he prepared one for the sword. Right? So let me get this other one. This is Second Ezra chapter 15, and I'm gonna start at 14. Right? Because this is the prophecy I was thinking about when I seen the video. I was like, damn, we here right now. Ain't no waiting. We're here already. It just needs to be manifest. That's it. But this is Second Ezra 15 and 20. 15 and 14. Woe unto the world and them that dwell therein. Now this is the same thing it said in Isaiah 13. It says, woe unto, and he says, and he will punish the world for their evil. So right here he's saying, woe unto the world and them that dwell therein. Woe is death and destruction. It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, right? And these are the kind of characteristics we've seen. Non-detainable offenses, right? Problem, reaction, solution, right? So it says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. 1 second. like I was explaining earlier, there's going to be, you know, one people fighting up against another, whether it's nations, whether it's groups, right? Like they have the different kind of groups, like the Phineas priesthood, or they got another group called One Army, and these are groups that planning on taking down the government, right? I forgot what they call them, but it's where those groups they come up that they try to take down the government. Like, uh, damn, I'm trying to think. If you ever seen Maze Runner, right? They was always trying to take down the what they call the wicked, and that's a spiritual ass movie. You should watch the Maze Runner. They was literally putting microchips in their necks, and the government was called the wicked. That's a good movie, man. You should watch it, especially the third one, the last one. But let me read this one more time. He says, "For the sword and the destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands." The modern day sword is gun, right? And we seeing this unfold now. Why do you think they're trying to ban guns and doing all this? Because Esau is playing games with society. He's trying to get them all riled up. Like, we have to take your guns, and then we have non-detainable offenses. So you can't even protect yourself. So Esau's just playing games. That's all he's doing, right? That's or what they call that. This place is called Babylon. Babylon means confusion. He creates a whole lot of confusion, right? And we know the Lord. We know the Lord is the one doing it at the end of the day, right? That's something we have to always understand. Why? Because when we in a deep, what we would call deep waters, or we're in a hot situation, only the Lord gonna be able to deliver you out of that situation. And if you don't have the Lord, watch how these niggas start dropping like flies, man. Watch how they start dropping like flies. It's gonna be crazy, man. Right? So it says, "For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another." Right? We just read that in Isaiah 13. How they're gonna be invading one another. Right? Because you're not going to jail for murder no more. You're not going to jail for aggravated battery. You're not going to jail for kidnapping, robbery, burglary, arson. You're not going to jail for these reasons no more. Right? So this is legalizing the purge, man. Right? And they didn't say it's going to be for a time. They just said that this is going to start January 1st, 2023. And like I said, you should watch the video. That the chief of police, bro, this nigga was pissed as hell. He like, bro, you could just look in his face and be like, he know what's up. He like, bro, this it's about to be complete anarchy. And he specifically said that this was passed overnight, man. Right? Just like the gas prices are changed overnight. You never see them changing the gas prices. Why? Because it's always when everybody's asleep. When Esau roll in on the Israelites, it's gonna be when everybody's asleep. What he do? Hey, when they rolled up on Yahweh Shai, it was in the middle of the night, right? So it says, "For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Right? This is what we're looking at. They're not going to be regarding their government officials, and that's just not in Chicago. That's anywhere, right? They're threatening them with martial law. They're threatening them with the National Guard, right? That ain't gonna be no. It's not gonna be. They're not gonna care about that. These niggas are gonna be hungry. These niggas are gonna have the spirit of devils on them, right? And if you don't have the Lord, man, you are finished, right? If you're not doing nothing for the Lord, you are finished. And I mean that with everything in me. That's why I try to do as much as I can for the truth, man. Because, bro, this is no game. If you're not doing nothing for the Lord, He's not gonna do nothing for you. And I understand that, so that's why I try to do as much. Because I know I got a family, I got brothers and sisters, right? Congregation, right? And Lord willing, He allow us to be together in that time, right? And it also gives you a sense of security of the mind, because you're like, man, whatever, no matter what happens, I did whatever I could to try to serve the Lord. So whatever the Lord's decision is, I don't know what the Lord's decision is, but I'm gonna fulfill my lot regardless. Right? We all are. But you want to make your calling and election sure by doing what you can for the Lord. Right? Got these niggas leaving the truth, man, like they got something better to do. Right? Niggas be letting women, bro. Man, oh my God. That is the biggest thing that irks me, man. And we love our women, but I'm talking about, man, bro, our women punking these niggas, man. We was at camp yesterday, and my brother, we dealt with this brother like 3 times already. And we be trying to teach him every time, give him a little bit more every time. And this last week, man, this dude literally, he's walking by with his girl, and he just threw his hand up like, "What's up?" And we like, "Come holler at us right quick. We got something for you today." And we seen his girl. She like, "Nigga, you ain't going over there." Bro, they literally, he was like, "All right, I'm gonna go in the store and I'm gonna come out and holler at y'all." Bro, they came out the store and went around. They went around the whole block to go home when the only thing they had to do was go right past us to get home. But that was all because of his woman, man. So these women about to get that work, man. They really about to get that work, right? That Isaiah 4 and 1 is going to apply to a lot of women, but a lot of women ain't going to be able to find the man of the Lord in that day. Straight up. They're not going to be able to find him, man. They're going to be out here. The Lord is going to judge way more women, right? The Lord is going to judge the women for what Eve did. The Lord hasn't fully got them yet. How do I know that? Because the Lord said this is going to be a day that the world has never seen before. So this is that day where the Lord is finally getting Eve back before he allow her to go into the kingdom. Hey, Jake, the man too, Adam too. We're going to get everybody back that deserves it. That goes for even the ones in the truth. All that little petty stuff we could have did better on. Oh, the Lord going to make us feel that. But at the end of the day, he's going to protect us. That's what really matters. Is he with us? Right? So let me keep going. It says, because it's a key point. It's another key point in this verse. He says, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right? Whatever, if you stronger than the next man, if you a man and you by yourself and you break in somebody's house and it's a man, a woman, and children in there, and you have all the weapons that you need, right? And they don't have no weapons, the course of your actions are going to stand in your power. Whatever you want to do with that house, you want to take them into captivity, you want to just take the woman, you want to just take the kids, that's going to stand in his power. Bro, this is prophecy. This is going to happen. You don't got to believe it. You can just wait for it to happen. But that's a sign that you know, that's all you're doing is just waiting for it to happen. Right? Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Like I said earlier, I believe that Esau is going to set up checkpoints and he's going to box all of them niggas in Chicago. He's going to make it where they can't go nowhere. And he's going to want them to slaughter each other. He's going to let them slaughter each other. And he's going to be like, nah, stay in the boxing ring. And that boxing ring is the whole Chicago, Illinois. Stay your ass in that boxing ring and y'all just go at it. Y'all have at it. Do whatever y'all want to each other. Y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of animals anyway. Right? But the righteous, they gonna be in there being tucked off, man. Lord gonna protect them. That's a blessing, man, to be able to witness the miracles that the Lord is about to perform, like he did with Elijah. Right? He commanded the ravens to feed him. Right? That's a beautiful miracle, man. But it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. This is one of the prophecies we're waiting to happen, which we know as martial law. Watch, just watch. Esau is, he's a wise fool. He's stupid. He's smart, but he's stupid. Esau gonna let all this shit happen. Then he gonna try to act like he gotta come up with a solution for it, and he gotta declare martial law. Nigga, you allowed them to do that. This is how Esau rock, man. Right? But the society is so dumb. They're gonna roll with this. Like a whole bunch of Edomites, like Trump supporters. Everybody know, like we're not stupid. We know Trump supporters, those are the racist people. Right? We can see it. Straight up, man. We can see this shit, but they thinking that it's for the country. And they want us to believe that it's more for the country. Nah, y'all, Trump he's a known racist man. He got pictures with the Grand Master of the KKK, man. The Grand Wizard, I mean, of the KKK. We know how racist Trump is. And his supporters, come on, man, that's all self-explanatory. But it says, verse 18, for because of their pride, right? The same thing we read in Isaiah chapter 13, 13 and 11. He says he will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. So right here, Ezra is saying the same thing. He says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed." So there we go again. So we read it in Zechariah 14 and 2, Isaiah 13 and 15, 16, and we read it in 2nd Ezra 15 and 18, where he says, "The houses shall be spoiled, rifled, and destroyed." They're gonna be coming in your crib looking for spoil. And like I said, women are spoils of war. Children are spoils of war, believe it or not. Straight up, I forgot who this man was. I forgot who he was, but they did a interview, a documentary of him. You know how Esau do? He do sick shit, doing documentaries with Ted Bundy and trying to figure out their mind and trying to make movies out of it, making it seem like it's a good thing, right? And one of those men, they said they was eating people. They would take them to their house and they would kill them and eat them. And he said the most saddest thing about it, he says that uh, he said he would he said children, he would eat children also. But he said the worst thing about it, he says that children, infants taste the best. Infants taste the best. That's what he said, right? So think about it. Edomites, man, I'm telling you, don't overlook this. I will show you. Esau loved guns. So Esau's already stockpiled guns and ammo. Esau likes to come together as marauders or mercenaries or old retired veterans. These niggas gonna be sealed. They're gonna be set up. They're gonna go from house to house, apartment to apartment, taking everything they need, including your substance and including you probably. And they're gonna take you back to where their community is, right? And they're either gonna eat you or use you as slaves. These are the times we're coming upon. Don't believe it. Now, there's actually a prophecy where it says that they'll be eating each other. In 2nd Ezra chapter 16, it says they will be eating each other and drinking their own blood because of how hungry they are, right? So it says, let me keep going. It says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Right? Men shall be afraid, right? And what is that? What is that talking about? That's Jeremiah 30 right there. It says that men is going to be afraid. Hey, even mighty men are going to be afraid. And if you see mighty men being afraid, how much more the weak men, right? That's why if you don't have the spirit of the Lord with you, if you didn't do everything you could, you're going to be afraid. And if you are afraid, you know you didn't do everything you could. That's the only time you're going to be afraid in that day is when you know you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And that's going to be a lot of people. And the Lord going to put that spirit on them, right? That's prophecy, right? He said he's going to bring forth your sins, right? So Jeremiah 30 and 5, he says, "For thus said the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear and not of peace," right? And that's what it says in Daniel chapter 8. It says that that he destroyed many through peace, right? He destroyed many through peace, right? And what's an example of that? The pandemic, right? He killing all those people in the name of peace. Like we're trying to come up with a solution so that everything can go back to normal. But here it is, we're in 2023 almost, and shit still ain't went back to normal. This man promised everybody in 2020 that everybody just needed one shot. That's all they needed. But here it is now in almost 2023, they're talking about annual shots, right? Every now and again, every month or two, you got to get a shot. That's what they're saying now. He lied to you, man, through peace, right? But Jeremiah 30 and 6, "Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, all faces are turned to paleness." So he says, "Ask now if you have you ever seen a man holding his stomach like he was about to have a baby?" That's the question that's being asked. And then he said, "In this vision, I see every man with his hands on his loins as he's about to have a baby like a woman." Right? Think of a woman having a baby. She's screaming, excruciating pain. If you have children, you know. Right? And I'm talking about like a natural birth. You know, you know how that goes. I've seen it. I got kids, so I've seen it on their face how they look. Their faces are. It's just like it look like excruciating pain, right? Something I wouldn't want to go through. Straight up, man. But that's the analogy that he's given, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. Ain't no time frame on earth from Genesis chapter 6 all the way to 2022. There's going to be no day like this time period that's coming upon the whole earth. Go watch the book of Eli. That is the most perfect book. I mean, that is the most perfect movie to watch to see how things are going to be. Straight up, man. So it says, for that day is great. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Like I said, there's going to be men and families that's going to be delivered by the Lord in Chicago, Illinois, if it happened there first, right? Because it's going to seem like nobody's going to make it out of Chicago. It's going to make it around the whole earth because the Lord tells you in Isaiah 24 that he makes the earth empty, right? That's why a man is going to be more precious than fine gold because there's already a shortage on men. These niggas are either gay or they're dying from gangbanging. Straight up. They're either gay or they gangbanging and they're dying or they're going to prison and you can't see them. So there's a shortage on Israelite men, right? But the Lord is literally going to get rid of these, right? So Isaiah 24 and 3, it says, the land shall be utterly empty and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken this word. So this is what we waiting on, man. For the Lord to empty the earth, right? All this pride, all these proud niggas, man, the Lord about to get rid of them, right? Only thing we got to do is do the work and, hey, pray and wait for the Lord to bring these prophecies to pass. Straight up, man, because they're coming rapidly, right? So going back to Second Ezra 15, and I'm gonna read 18 again. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So we just read in the prophecy of Jeremiah 30 how men was going to be afraid in the time of Jacob's trouble, right? And when you go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6 and 6, I'm gonna start at 5. It says, horribly and speedily shall he come upon you, for a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places, right? For mercy will soon pardon the meanest, but mighty men shall be mightily tormented, right? So the more mighty you are, the more mentally strong you are, the Lord is going to bring far more judgment on you because he's going to make sure that you're going to weep and gnash, right? He's going to make sure that prophecy of every man having their hands on their loins like a woman having a baby comes to pass. The Lord going to make sure it happens, right? Have you ever seen when we was all kids? Well, I can speak for my era. There was a show on TV and it was called A Thousand Ways to Die. And I would always watch that show, man. And I'm like, damn, people die from that. It'd be crazy ass reasons, but it's when you look at that, that is the Lord judging people. And these people be getting embarrassed when they get killed, man. You see some of those judgments, but the Lord has a million ways to kill people, right? So he has a million ways to judge you, man, right? So these mighty men, hey, he's gonna like the most thing. I give an analogy on what I think. Mighty men being mightily tormented. Think of a veteran. This man been in the service for 20 plus years, right? He know taekwondo, he know street boxing, he know all kind of. He a black belt, right? He know how to clean a gun, he know how to break it apart, clean it. But then this nigga get killed by the most simplest thing, right? He get killed by the most simplest thing. That is an embarrassing kill. You so mighty, but you got took down by that, right? And that's how it was with King David and Goliath. I know the Philistine was like, oh, this nigga let this little dude kill him with a slingshot. In the context of Wisdom of Solomon 6, it says they're going to be tormented. Mighty men going to be mightily tormented. They're going to get tortured first, right? Let me get a precept on that. mightily mighty men being mightily tormented. This is Revelation. Revelation 9 and 6. It says, and in those days men shall seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Imagine in a time that we're coming upon where mighty men, they're so mighty, but then half of their head is blown off, but they are not dying. Both of their legs is amputated. They've been ate off by an animal, a wild beast, but they're not dying. They're crawling around, but nothing is they have to suffer first because that's what the Bible says. It's read it again. And in those days shall men seek death. It's going to be so bad. People are going to seek death. They're going to want to die. It says, and shall not find it. Right? That death angel going to flee from them. It says, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Straight up, man. That's the times we're coming upon. All praises to the Most High, man, because they deserve it. Right? Look at how these wicked ass people, man, who don't want to obey the Lord. These people really think that they their own God. These people think they can make up who they want to be God. Right? They make gods out to be a damn schizo, man. It's like he's schizo. Everybody got their own image and own characteristic of who they want God to be. But then the Bible right here telling you who he is. Straight up, man. They don't even know the Most High. They think they do, though. Right? But let's keep going. Second Ezra 15 and 19. It says, I'm gonna start 18 again. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Right? He's not gonna have no pity. Mercy is gonna be removed from the earth. Right? And that's what we just read in Isaiah 11. All the precepts that I just brought out. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. He don't give a damn about you having a wife and kids, and they gotta eat. The course of their power is gonna, the course of their action is gonna stand in their power. If they hungry and they you got something they want, they're gonna take it from you. It says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, though. Your neighbor that's across the street from you, you've been living across the street from 10 plus years, that's gonna be the same neighbor that break in your house, tie your wife and children up, and torment them and allow you to watch and then take whatever they want out of your house and then go to the next neighbor. Right? Hey, you can't talk to people that's hungry. You cannot speak. What can you say to a person that's hungry? You can't say nothing. Right? And these people, the Most High set it up so beautifully, man. These people literally can't even go a whole day without eating. Or people would be fasting, right? They can't go a whole 24 hours. The Lord about to be making them go days. So eating flesh is not out of the question. Straight up in that day. Right? So not only kidnapping, they're going to be taking people to eat them. But it says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. There we go again. Destroy their houses with the sword. This modern day sword is the gun. And like I said, Chicago and Texas has the most guns in the United States. Right? I was just reading an article. They said that America has the most guns in the whole world. They said America has over 300 million registered weapons. Registered. That's just registered. We ain't talking about the ones with the scratch serial numbers and all that. We ain't talking about. They said that every American, there's so many guns here. They said that every American can have 20 weapons, 20 pistols. Every American can have 20 pistols, man. There's so many weapons here. So I can one second. God. Like I said though, every American can have 20 pistols, man. That's how many weapons it is here, right? In Chicago, and that's why so many murdering. Like you'll be like, when you watch videos, you'll be like, bro, this nigga like 12. This nigga 12 with a whole Glock 18 with a 30 round clip in it. And you're like, bro, you're 12. Where are they getting this from? Because the government is the one pushing these guns in these neighborhoods because they want them. Ain't no way. It's like, bro, if y'all really concerned on the guns, why are y'all still making y'all should put a pause on making guns, right? You would think that. Hell nah, man. Esau play games, man. Like I said earlier, Esau plays games, right? But it said, I'm gonna read it again. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. There that word go again also. Because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. And that great tribulation is what they're going to be going through, right? What they're going to be suffering from, right? Nobody's going to be safe pretty soon, except the men of the Lord, the men and families of the Lord, right? But this is all set up by Esau. Problem, reaction, solution. Esau's creating a problem. He's allowing the people. He just created a problem just now, right? In Chicago, Illinois. I'm gonna read them again. Aggressive, non-detainable offensive, starting January 1st, 2023. Aggravated battery, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing, right? Arson, burglary, drug-induced homicide, intimidation, kidnapping, robbery, second-degree murder, threatening public officials. These are non-detainable offenses. This is Esau creating a problem right here. And then he's going to allow the people to react to this problem. And them reacting to it, he's going to allow them to do whatever they want. He's going to allow them to do all this shit, and he's going to allow it to get bad. And then he's going to come in with a solution. Starting off with martial law, blocking off the exits of Chicago, Illinois, saying nobody can leave because of so and so. We can't say exactly what he's going to say, but this is how Esau get down, man. But this is not going to just happen in Chicago, Illinois. You bet your ass it's going to happen in wherever you are. It's going to happen there pretty soon. It's going to happen. But I just want to show you the house in the Bible, man. Lord, I definitely want to do a part two, but I want to get some brothers involved so we can do a part two and actually go farther into this. Right? That's all I got for now, man. Shalom.